Hi, Dave.
We're in LA, California.
How you doing?
I am fantastic and I am excited. We are going to have a blast right now.
Yes.
All right, lots to go through. So, Vivienne, I'm going to start with you. What do you love about being a part of the Sandman?
Without sounding cheesy, everything. And that's not even a lie. It is so fantastic. It is so wonderful. Wonderful?
Wonderful.
That's how excited I am. It's so wonderful to be part of this incredible world that Neil has created. And these characters are just so detailed, so complex. We know who they are. We know their inner beings. And it's just, it was, to be part of this production was like nothing I've ever experienced. It was incredible. And I just love that I'm part of this Sandman world now. It's just, yeah, amazing.
That's so cool. Tom, I wrote this question just for you in mind. I want to talk about the costumes.
Okay, let's do it.
And you know where I'm going, because in the beginning, you don't have a costume.
Ah, yes. I don't have a costume. Well, I have my birthday suit, I think that's what I call it.
What was it like when you were in full character, though? And actually you were dressed up as Morpheus' dream. Comic roles, I think, are just fun acting experiences. I say that like I've been in one. I've never been in one, but I'm living vicariously through you both.
Yeah.
But when you're in full costume, do you feel that character? Does it help?
Absolutely, it helps. I mean, it kind of, firstly, just because, especially, with a comic book, like you're recreating, or you want to recreate images that you've seen, and so just when you put on the costume and you look at it and you go, okay, I actually look like the guy in the frame. Like, that is an incredibly empowering feeling. And secondly, on a more abstract level, I can't explain it, but it just gets into your bones. There's a sense of responsibility, I think is the right word, that is incredibly invigorating.
Vivienne, I want to know about the first time that you met Tom, because the chemistry that you both have is incredible, and it's so important to this story. Comics fans, we're nerds, and we point out stuff, and it can be the harshest critics. I want to know about the first time you met Tom.
First time I met Tom was absolutely awful. Oh, God. Don't even want to think back to that time. No, the first time I met Tom, he was just so lovely. We met very briefly before our scene. And, you're nervous. You're going into a new job. It's like any new job. You're nervous. Who you working with? This is going to be my guy. And he was just like the sweetest, loveliest, gentle, loving person. It was just like this. And then we get on set and he just transforms. He is so detailed, and the Morpheus that he is giving us is so exquisite and amazing. And to watch him was phenomenal. So it's happened because, you've got Neil Gaiman's work, which is just so rich and wonderful. Allan Heinberg has adapted the scripts. Then you're working with incredible actors. So you're just immersed and you're in it. And that relationship was born out of just working together and listening to each other. And Tom is so generous as an actor. And I just felt like I could completely explore and play with whatever this was. And it was such a thrilling experience.
Tom, I'm sorry that we're talking in front of you, but I agree with everything that you just said. All right, I'm going to give you the last word. What are you most excited about now that it's finally coming out? This is one of the most anticipated series as well. You've seen the social media reaction. I include myself in that. I am so excited about this. But what are you most proud of that it's finally here and you're a part of it?
Look, I am first and foremost, like you, a fan of Sandman. I mean, I care about it so deeply. I think it's one of the most important pieces of literature, and I mean literature, of the last 30 years. And so to be a part of it, and to be Morpheus himself, is the greatest privilege of my life, and is one I take with great seriousness and a great sense of responsibility. But with an awesome pride. But what I'm most excited about is people like me, people who care about it so much, having the opportunity to see it, to see hopefully the film that they've already made in their heads come outside of their heads, and to see the characters that they love so much move and talk and feel for each other, and to see the way they think by looking in their eyes, and then to see these extraordinary worlds and landscapes realized, to see the gates of hell, to see the gates of horn and ivory, to see the house of mysteries, to see a convention of serial killers, an orgy of homicidal orgy in a diner, to see all of these images that are lacerated in our brains finally on a screen, and to just lie back and breathe.
I told you this was going to be fun. Thank you for your time today. Excellent conversation. You both are just amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Lovely to meet you.
Oh my gosh, Death and Desire today. This is going to be my favorite room. I'm not even joking. Wow. All right, so Kirby, I have to start. Great to see you, by the way.
Yeah, you too.
I'm so excited. How was this story, your character in particular, described to you? Mason, you're about to get this one too, so stand by for that one. But I'm curious what the answer is, Kirby.
Well, I think I'm going to be kind of treading on your story a little bit in that, this character wasn't described to me. I was very familiar. I'd read the Sandman comics. So when I got the sides to audition with, they didn't say death because obviously they're very, very hush-hush about these things. But I knew from the lines, which were directly lifted from the comic, who this character was because I remembered those words. So so for me, it was almost like I felt like I knew something that so many other actors didn't know because I was like, I know exactly what this is. Doesn't matter what fake name they put on this. I know what this is and I know who this character is.
Yeah. You go. I love that. So Mason, I want to know how Desire was described to you.
Similarly to Kirby, I knew everything already. Desire had been described to me, in me, about me for years. I approached this project kind of asking to be a part of it. It was one of the very few times in my life that I've really chased after something, and there were no descriptives necessary. There was no new information. I was a fan of the comic, so. But as we've developed the series and as they've released information about it, of course they've self-described Desire in a litany of very delicious and sexy ways.
I knew this was going to be a fun room. I want to hang out all day right here. Better in person though. All right, so Kirby, I want to talk about the sets, the costumes. This thing just jumps out of the screen. It is so compelling. I'm in love with everything about this, including your characters. What was it like to actually be on set? The costumes. Tell me, the props, everything.
Well, it was incredible. I mean, I wear I wear one of the most iconic Death outfits. She has a couple, but that is the one I think that is burnt into my brain, certainly. The tank top and the jeans and the military boots and the ankh. And so the costume was done. The costume was a breeze. I think what we struggled with was trying to figure out what size ankh, how high to place it so you could see it in a shot or maybe not see it here. That was like the sort of the most debate that went into my costume, but it was pretty simple. And then in terms of sets, I mean, I don't know if you've seen my episode, but mine really takes place like now in the real world. We are walking and talking. We are literally walking and talking around Richmond Park and in Hammersmith and these very beautiful settings in London, and the weather was gorgeous. So I really didn't have a lot of time indoors or on set. But one of my favorite moments was when I did arrive at Shepperton and they were like, the hell set hadn't been broken down yet because they filmed that way before, and I got to wander through hell. And that was impressive because, I think that what this show does is seamlessly blend CG and actual real beautifully built sets in a way that I think is really rare for TV. It's really rare even for film now, but especially in TV.
Mm-hmm. I love London, so this made me miss London so much more. I'm ready for the world to just get back to normal because I love everything about London. I would live there if I didn't have to work, I guess. All right, Mason, I'm gonna give you the last word. I want to know what made this thought-provoking for you.
Well, it is, it comes from the mind of one of my favorite authors happens to be, one of the greatest literary geniuses of our time. And I think that Neil understands what it means to be human in a way that many people don't know how to put into words. And he really has found the words for it, and he's put every single one of them into this story. He's put every single one of them into the comic, and because of that, now into the television series. So I think what makes it so thought-provoking for me is because the deep well of human experience that is represented and pulled from in this series is unlike anything that I have ever seen, especially in the fantasy realm. And it's really exciting that he can find a way to ground so much humanity amongst all of these incredible beings and ideas and locations, and somehow deliver this story that feels unbelievably moving.
You both are just beautiful, just gorgeous, and I love today. Thank you so much for a wonderful conversation.
Nice
And
to see
seriously, it's so good to see you. All right,
So good to
take
see
care.
you.
Be safe. All right.
Yes,
Be
you
safe.
too. Bye.
Vanesu, great to meet you. How you doing today?
Hi, good. How are you?
And Boyd, it's been a whole 24 hours since I've seen you. What are we doing? What are we doing tomorrow?
Oh, you know what? I think this is it. I think this is
Okay.
This is the last thing. Just the Sandman.
All right, it's all good. Great to see you again, my friend.
Cheers.
Vanesu, I'm going to start with you. How much fun was this? We're going to break down the scary elements and all the stuff that terrified me here in a minute, but it seemed like this was fun to do. Anything comics related seems like it would be fun. Am I right?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was just a blast, honestly. Really fun, really exciting. It was cool to just wield my vortex powers, just existing as the vortex and being like, yeah, I'm that girl that's destroying the world. I think it's nice.
Boyd, it seemed like you were having a great time. Both your characters are just amazing. But, I just knowing you now here for 2 days, I feel like you're the kind of guy that it seemed like the sets and the props and everything were cool. Did you get to keep anything? I feel like you would just, I don't know. I'm not calling you a thief, of course, but I feel like you would just keep something fun.
I would say I kind of own a little bit of that stuff too, right? I mean, not possession is 9/10 of the law. So, I definitely have the glasses. I have those.
Oh.
I definitely kept those. Yeah.
Vanesu, how different is the acting experience, something comics related? I know acting is acting, but I feel like I'm a comics geek. And do you like comics?
I not necessarily. I haven't read many English language comics. I'm more of a manga fan, and more than that, I'm more of an anime fan. So I haven't gotten to read too many comics. No.
But it's the acting experience, different when you know that these are just supernatural type, thrilling, fun stuff.
I think in general, I haven't got much experience to compare with, but I think in general, fantasy is just, even if it's not based off a comic, fantasy is just kind of different, because you're really playing with a lot of elements that require your imagination, and also just things that if you're very logic based, they don't make any sense in, our world, but you've got to immerse yourself in that.
Boy, do you have just great dreams, great nightmares? The only time I'm ever going to be able to ask you that kind of a question.
I feel like I pinch myself every morning. I feel like I'm living my dreams now. As in terms of nightmares, there's just always these occurring nightmares that you're being chased and you're having to do these awful things to stay alive. And it's fascinating how just dreams dissipate when you wake up if you try to jot them down or keep any track of them, or they just keep reoccurring.
Are you a comics fan?
I read a lot of comics to my son. We're at the low end of the totem pole, but yeah, it's great for him to introduce them early on and have some stuff that I grew up with, like the Ninja Turtles and all those, Donald Duck and all those guys.
Complete opposite of what we're seeing in the Sandman.
Absolutely, but that's life. That's life.
Hey, That's very true. And comics are comics, right? Vanesu, I'm going to give you the last word. What do you think is just going to compel and just get audiences and viewers? I know what drew me to this and what I really like. I love the twisted aspect of it all, but I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Oh gosh, I mean, I can't imagine what would draw everyone, because like there's so many different things, it's got something for everyone. There's like the horror, there's the existentialism, there's the mythology, which is my personal favorite part about the comics, and stuff that you see, in the show. I think it's just, if someone is looking for something, compelling, that's got a lot of substance in it, and they're looking for something, heavier, because it's definitely not like, just like a lighthearted soap. I think if someone is looking for something to really like sink their teeth into, this is, that.
There you go. Hey, great to see you both, and stay safe. And Boyd, I guess I'll just talk to you next time.
Yeah. See you, man. Thanks for
All right,
everything.
brother. Hey, it's because we're working. We're working, dude. That's why we get to keep doing this stuff.
We got a job. JOB.
Love it. All right. Take care, you both. Take
See
care.
you. Bye.
Gentlemen, great to meet you both. I love this. I'm a comics nerd, and I never seen anything like this before. I'm like, I even looked at my mom and I were watching it together. I said, how has nobody come up with this concept before? This is genius. So, Neil, I say to you first, or I ask you, you must have some incredible dreams and some just outlandish nightmares. Am I right?
You are right. Although something really weird happened in my life when I started writing Sandman, because I'd had terrible nightmares as a kid. I had terrible nightmares as a teen. I had terrible nightmares into my 20s. And then I was writing Sandman, and suddenly nightmares were fabulous. If I woke up from a nightmare, I was overjoyed. It was great. And I'd grab a piece of paper and I'd write down details, everything I could remember, and then I'd use that imagery. And very, very quickly, the nightmares stopped.
So see, the Sandman can be therapeutic, everyone that's watching us right now.
Absolutely. Although my personal theory is whoever was sending the nightmares was just so disappointed by my reaction that they gave up and went home.
But you know what's funny? You do appreciate a good nightmare after everything's settled down, I think. Allan, tell me about the process to get this done. Because it just seems like, again, comics are just so full of depth and character development. Walk me through the process.
Well, I mean, we had enormous support from Warner Brothers TV and from Netflix, and they gave us the budget we needed to be able to realize, the best version of this. And so we had the comics, we had Neil's original scripts that he wrote for the artists before they drew the comics. And then I had an incredible writer's room, and we would get together every day, and we had the luxury of being able to just talk about the Sandman. How did it make you feel reading this? How does it affect your life right now? What are you going through right now that made this resonate for you? And it comes alive for all of us in a way that we then channel into the scripts. And then every night after the writer's room, I would get to discuss all of this with Neil, and we would talk it all through. And so that's how we built this season of The Sandman, is really living it, really just living and breathing it and enjoying it, and hoping to share that love with people who love the comics and people who've never read them.